This is Doug. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm at my truck. I just have to go use the restroom, go into the facilities, and then the first step this morning, my pickup is until 1500. We use military time. It's 3 o'clock this afternoon. So I'm coming in extra early because I need to get an empty. When I hook up to an empty, I'm done. I can work on videos and work on stuff between now and about 1400 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So the fastest I get an empty, the faster I can start on the project and continue where I left off this weekend. Right there. And there's just all these trucks. This is where I'm based. I've been based ever since I first got hired in Phoenix. And this is where I came when I was hired, and I had to do my first 3 days of orientation. And then after I did my first 3 days of orientation, because I was already experienced, they just threw me in a truck and I went to work. I didn't have to go out with a trainer. Now, those are the trailers I'm walking towards to check out if there's any empties. Trucks by the shop. More and more trucks. They're all night trucks, obviously. This isn't a truck stop. This is a night terminal. Remember, there's trucks back at the bobtail lot where I'm parked now. Here's more trucks. If I had the truck and I could drive, I would drive and just drive all the way down the line. That's what most guys do, but I'm just not wanting to start my clock. And let's see, somehow I think I got this. I accidentally pressed the 2X. So what I'm gonna do is have to go all the way down the line here, looking for an empty, and so forth, the whole entire lot, see if I can find an empty this morning. As a seal and a lock, I know it's not empty, obviously. But another truck is hooked to it, so it's not available. Being empty, but it might have a repair ticket. Let me go see if it has a yellow or a tag on it that something needs to be repaired. This has no tag on it. Now the challenge, I have to get back to my truck, come up here before someone else grabs it, and double check and make sure it's empty. But now this would have been the advantage to drive up here. I could have grabbed it and be done, but now I have to hustle back to my truck, drive up here, and PC as quick as I can to hook up to this, and then I'm done. This, and then I can relax. I can get somewhat relaxed. I'm gonna sweep the trailer. The way I operate, not all drivers do this. But I like to not wait till the last minute to do things. I like to be ahead of the game. So that's why I'm here at 5:30 or 6 in the morning. The regular dispatchers aren't here till 7. Madeline's not here till 7 a.m. So what I like to do, I'm not always successful, but I like to come here so I can tell Mark or Mike, now my dispatcher's a brand new dispatcher named Mike. I can go and tell Mike, I've got an empty, it's swept, I'm good to go. We're good on the load at 1500. And then they know we're good. I'm ahead of the ball game. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I don't have to pick up the load till 3 or 1500, and just hopefully it won't be canceled. Last Thursday the load was canceled. That's why I was able to do it, and I went home early and decided to have a long weekend. So that's it. I'm going to sweep the trailer. The other times I chanted Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge. I just like the way it sounds in the trailer. It's like chanting in a cave or something. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. I'm kind of blessing the trailer, I guess. Let's just chant. Let's chant and hope we have a good day. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, chanting for a good day and a good week. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, the first day of the 90-day program. Well, actually, technically yesterday, but Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, the first Monday. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Room out this is my tool. This is the broom. I use this. Oops, this has water in it from washing. Now, just a footnote. I did the same thing last Thursday morning. Found it empty, washed it. Washed my truck, swept the trailer, got everything ready just like I am today, and then the load was canceled. And then Mark gave me the option to do another load or just go home, and I chose to go home. That's why we're at where we're at. Now, you might be asking, why didn't I just hold on to the empty I had? We aren't supposed to, although drivers do it, we aren't supposed to sit on an empty for 4 days because it's, other drivers need them. So now I have to dump out the water, hook up the broom. I dump out the water because I use this to put the trash in there. I throw the trash in. There happens to be a trash bin. I don't know if there's a trash bin right next to the trailer here. So that's what I'm gonna do, is sweep out the trailer, get it ready, hook up the glad hands, raise the landing gear, and then I'm done. I'm basically have not started my 14-hour clock. I successfully found a trailer this morning, which was my goal. Now, it may not have turned out that way, but I'm happy it did, because I love to do these movies, projects, and even though it's my work week, I do have times when I'm productive and I plan my schedule that I can fit time in to do this without disrupting my job. That's the main thing I want to communicate. This driving to Tokyo project is not meant to be a distraction or get in the way of my job I get paid to do. Like, in other words, I didn't have to come in this early. My pickup is not to 1500. I could have come in like 11 or 12 today, and that would have been fine with night to say I had 2 hours or 3 hours to find it empty, but I just didn't want it to be down to that. I wanted to be ahead of the game. Like sweeper trailer, we actually technically don't get paid for this. We don't get paid by the hour. So in other words, I didn't clock in at 6 o'clock this morning, and I'm going to get paid $20 an hour for sweeping out the trailer. It's just something we have to do. We get paid by the mile, not by the hour. Now this thing, I hope there's not, it looks like this is, no, that's been patched. So this is just one of those things. So a lot of people don't like that. They won't do this because they're like, and I understand completely, I'm working and I'm not getting paid for it. That's not cool. But it's just the way that the trucking industry is. There are companies that actually pay you for fuel and pay you for the sleeper time. And it's secure, hands-free with the Suns, but you know, it's like this. You know, I can drive down the highway. This won't be here, but it's that kind of look. Over here on this mount, it's kind of like this shade's in the way, but it's like you drive down the highway and it's like this, and you can hear my voice and the audio comes through. Hey, how's it going? So this can be mounted safely on a magnet. That's what I want to communicate to Madeline, because I do want to do driving scenes. Why? Because it is driving to Tokyo. It's not sitting in Tokyo or parked in Tokyo. It's driving to Tokyo. And the other thing is, every single day, like today on these dedicated, I have 6 or 7 hours of just driving where I'm thinking about stuff. I have stuff to communicate. It could be for podcast, audio. There's just a lot of time in the truck driving that I can use for stuff like that. It just makes sense. So we have to do it safely and whatever it takes. But obviously I'm holding this and the truck isn't moving, so I don't think Madeline or they will have any trouble with it. But I know I'm making a lot of assumptions, so that's one of the things definitely is now that I've committed to this project and I've put some definite money into this and said I was serious about this and let's go for this, you know, I definitely want to check in with Knight and make sure that, hey, we're all on the same page. I'm sure we are. I texted Madeline last night and told her, you know, this is what I'm doing. I'm going forward with this project and I'm serious about it. And she put like hearts on the, she did read the messages, and she actually, I don't know if she actually watched the video, because what happens is when she looks at a message, I'll see that it says read, okay? Meaning she at least opened it.
but I don't know if she has watched it. Like, I honestly don't know. I've sent her like several videos and she hasn't said anything about it, which kind of concerns me a little bit. Because when I initially said I make these videos, I'd love to get your opinion, she said, oh yeah, I'm real excited to see them. And then when I sent them to her, she didn't say anything. Which I don't know what that means. I don't know if she just didn't want to say anything like she did, or she thought they were crazy, or she didn't like them, or she just didn't know what to say. So I don't know. I'm anxious to find out. See, I can't. The sun comes. I'm anxious to hear from her. That's about. I'm anxious. I'm kind of anxious right now because driving to Tokyo, having Mike's participation for 90 days and his expertise and his to do all the things that I frankly don't know how to do, that I would like to learn how to do, learn by doing, but I don't want to wait. You know, some of this stuff you just don't learn overnight. You know, in some cases you do, but Madeline, who happens to be, you know, the dry services manager, that's overseeing my manager and all the managers and the whole dry van fleet right here in this big terminal, it would really enhance the project to have her on board with what I'm doing. Now, to be honest, I think because this is how the trucking videos normally are, I think she's leaning towards, you know, using this platform for, you know, training, you know, because, you know, how to hook up the trailer, how to do the glide hands, what you do with how to drive safe, you know, we have safety courses we take every month. We have to take one to get our bonuses. And so I think she's like on that focus. Okay. Personally, I'm more interested in kind of the inner dynamics, you know, the personal development, mindset, lifestyle, all the other things that I don't think all the trainers, when they train students, talk about. Some do. I mean, I'm not training people now, but my videos and stuff can be a sample of what it would be like to receive training. And that's what Mike was saying, that people can watch the video, and through video they can be with me and I can show them, okay, this is how you hook up the glad hand. And the basics is not specifically to train them so they're actually qualified to drive. It's to, via video, show them what you have to do to drive a truck, so they understand, so that I actually can save them. You know, if they see that, oh wow, I didn't realize you have to do all of that stuff. I thought you just get in the truck and drive. I mean, you actually have to raise the landing gear, you have to hook up glad hands, you have to fuel, you have to sweep trailers, you have to do this, you have to do that. Man, that's a lot of extra stuff. I just thought you get in the truck and just drive. So there was someone that takes care of all the rest of that, you know, that kind of thing. So I definitely want to have that, the mechanics of driving, you know, on, but frankly, that's not going to take me a lot of time to talk about, you know, to put together, to construct. Okay. The philosophy part and you know, all the other stuff, the stories from my past, like Mike's talking about, throwback to the 2007 in the Takis restaurant and all of that, and kind of the story is what interests me, you know, the humanistic part of all this. And what I'm hoping will happen is that, yeah, there will be drivers that are attracted to driving to Tokyo. They may not even be with Knight. And there's good possibility they aren't. And so we can establish a dialogue, you know, like they'll ask me questions like, what's it like working there, and why do you stay, and they'll tell me their situation and maybe why they stay where they might be perfectly happy with the trucking company they're with, and that's fine. But we can have a dialogue to where they kind of like want to be a part of it anyway, because there's so many things we can do between Zoom calls and there's just so much that can be done, but it starts with like right now, it starts with just dialogue, communication, and you start with the end goal. Now that I'm like in the vicinity of the frequency of actually making this a reality, I'm not like at square one, 12 years ago. Now I'm more into, wow, this is real. I can actually do this. I have the experience. I'm a veteran land pilot, driver, and I really can do this. In fact, I know I could do 1 hour. Like I've been talking like 7 minutes. I could do a 1 hour video documentary thing with everything, especially if it's all encompassing with Japan, my backstory, how I got here, my philosophy. It wouldn't be no problem at all. That's why I feel making a 1 hour or doing a TV, reality thing is not far-fetched. It's just that, like Mike was talking about, we just have to talk about, the storyline, the framework, what are we going to talk about and why, and how does this fit in with this and this and this and this and that, so that there's a flow, there's like a beginning, middle, and end, so someone can watch that and go, okay, you can follow along, and when they watch it, they walk away with something that makes sense to them, like, oh, I got it, okay, great. And like that can be, how movies have sequels, they'll watch that and they'll go, oh, that was really cool, I'm looking forward to the next one, the next sequel or the next chapter, and just very much the way a television series, goes along. There's new episodes, there's new things, there's new, it's still in the framework, all the police shows. Just think of all the FBI and CSI and all these law enforcement kind of police shows that have been going on for years, okay, with that framework. But the stories change, the backdrop, because, people find that stuff interesting. Now, I think, maybe I'm wrong, maybe people would find this completely boring, but I think it could be very interesting, especially when I can finally get back on track and going to Japan. I'm anxious to do that because the clock's ticking, It's now going on this coming winter, it'll be 2 years since I was there. Imagine it's been, I'll just finish with this, it'll be 2 years since I gone to Japan, and in 2 years I went 5 times. So I feel like I'm losing momentum. I'm losing the driving to Tokyo. I'm losing the Tokyo part. Like it's kind of becoming, you know what I mean? It's like I want to bring that in again, because that was very real when I was going in the fall, and I could tell my friends in Japan, I'll see you in the spring. I worked real hard for 3-4 months. I did a video yesterday. I said driving to Tokyo, just drive Japan, drive Japan. It was just like that. It was like a mantra. I drive Japan in the spring, drive Japan in the fall, drive Japan in the spring. It was like that. Boom, 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 boom. And now I've missed now 3 trips to Japan, which really bums me out a lot. And all my friends there keep saying, hey, keep the faith, things are going to get better, you'll be back soon, we remember you, we haven't forgot about you, they're watching my videos, that kind of thing. And I know when I finally get on the plane and I land again, I'm like, oh, I'm home. Hopefully it'll just feel like I'm just there yesterday. That's what I'm kind of hoping. But in the meantime, this whole trucking thing is like, there's comes another truck. This trucking thing, basically, here's the bottom line. I'm going to be in the truck, or I'm going to be in my home studio, or I'm going to be at this really cool Airbnb in Tempe that I like. I could be there, or maybe another location. Or I'm going to be on the road in the truck, at home, or possibly at an Airbnb, okay? And that's it. Those are the three now obviously I could be in my car doing things, shopping or do everyday things, but the three main places for the time being is home, where I was just at, the truck, sitting or moving, and then potentially this Airbnb I really like, and or another one. And possibly, there's definitely a possibility I might go out with my personal car on a long weekend, maybe out to Encinitas and see my buddy Richard out and see the ocean. That's definitely a part of it, because I talk about Encinitas a lot. So anyway, this thing is actually, it gets heavy. It's not like 10 pounds, but it's like, whoa, this thing has, well, you'd have to feel it, that extra gigabytes. I don't know. I'd have to see like the specs and how much extra that is, but it's pretty amazing. But anyway, that's all. I'm done, pretty much done with what I need to do. I may walk in, since I sent Madeline that stuff last night. She comes in at 7, see if she says anything to me. She usually just says good morning, and she takes off, but then if I come and I go and talk to my manager and leave, she sent me a text, said, I saw you in here. By the time I noticed you were gone. Next time, come back and say hi to me. So we're still trying to get together and maybe have more than 2 minutes of talking, from my opinion. I guess I feel that personally, you make time for things that are important, and no matter how busy you are, you can find time to meet with someone that you really want to meet. If there's something you're excited to meet about, and you want to meet them, you'll find time. We can find time, to get together. And I feel like I'm looking forward to Mike and Michelle coming out to Arizona, since they'll be in the same state. It's a big state here. We'll figure out how to get together. I'm hoping that Mike will be here at the terminal for real, and maybe by that time Madeline will be excited and open and receptive to having a powwow, or if anything, like Mike was talking about, we'd do it via Zoom. But we have to make time to talk about, because night is, here I am, I'm in a night truck. I'm going to be hauling night trailers. I'm working at night, a big bulk of my week. So I definitely want to feel like, nights on board are supportive of what I'm doing here. This is the last thing I want to say, that I don't have a lot of experience with, but I'm assuming there's a potential. They may establish guidelines that I have to have some type of little thing on the beginning of the video or on the description or something. Doug Werma is an employee. His views don't necessarily reflect the views of Night Transportation. They're completely independent. This is a creative film project. We are supportive of the film, but anything that's said is not necessarily reflective of the philosophy or our beliefs or whatever. That's completely independent, because Doug is an independent. I'm not technically an independent contractor, but along those lines, this is his creation, Driving to Tokyo. We're supportive. We think it's great that he's giving exposure tonight. But just to be clear, this is a company video. This is a private video. That kind of thing. And then the things like the cameras. We're cool with you doing this, but we prefer, since this is your equipment, and we're concerned about safety and liability and all that bit you have. And if we have those two things taken care of, and then the third might be just like, we feel it'd be cool if XYZ happens. Have some training. You talk about recruiting. You talk about things that would be mutually beneficial for you and the company. So those are the three kind of criteria that I think personally need to discuss, and Mike can give me his ideas. And I'm sure Madeline was watching this, she'd go, well, yeah, that's totally but also I'd like to talk about this, and here's why, that kind of thing. So that's what Mike talks about, and I agree with 100%. We need to communicate. We need to talk. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? Anyway, I'm going to turn this off, and I think we're probably getting close to like 6:30, and we'll raise the landing gear, hook up the glad hands, and walk all the way back to the terminal and see what happens when I go in to talk to Mike to tell him I got an empty and we're good to go. See what happens there. Now, I can't walk in with at least, I don't know if I can. I probably could, but I don't walk in with my camera into the where the driver managers are and interview them and stuff. Now, there might come a time, Madeline says, that has a powwow and says, I give Doug blessing to actually interview you guys and kind of like make you a part of this, his whole driving to Tokyo thing. So just so if anyone wants to be in this project or this reality TV series, you can talk to Doug, and he's going to actually have he can videotape you if you're okay with it. We're okay with it, stuff. Who knows? It'd be really cool, because we have really cool, in my opinion, environment, culture, and that's part of what people are attracted to. They want to know the culture of the company, and that's another whole subject. But I'm gonna turn this off. I have to go to glad hands and the landing gear, and then walk over to the driver lounge. I might even just bring my laptop and all my stuff and hang out there, because this truck does get hot. It hasn't got hot yet because it's still early, but this truck will get hot, and rather than sitting here running the air conditioning and burning up fuel, I'm probably going to have to sit in the driver lounge when it starts getting warm.